All right, here's the Junkyard engine. We were getting pretty close to having it back together. We had the intake manifold on and time belt on, and test turning it over. We could not turn over the engine. It would go like about 350 degrees and then stop. And went back and forth messing around with it, and we ended up determining that the exhaust cam was locked in place and wasn't spinning. So we took the intake manifold back off, and we checked, and we're like, well, we didn't mess up a rocker, everything was fine, sitting where it should be, so there's no problem there. But what I noticed is that over here, you can see our ARP studs are hitting the cam casting there. And in the process of tightening down on the cam, or tightening down the intake manifold, we put a little indentation in every single one of the cam journals there. So I know people have talked about this problem before, and I've never run across it personally when doing this. I've used the ARPs before, and I haven't had this happen. A couple of things about it. One, if you can see the number of threads sticking out there, that's at the back. That's where I have the least amount of indentation. And then if you see here at the front, that's how much thread I have sticking out. So conventional wisdom is to not have the studs bottom out, so that you've got better seating area in all the threads. But I had to untorque that one and run it down. I think I got it a little bit further down. I'm gonna have to do that for all of these. So I don't know what's happened in the past, when I put these in. Maybe I just got them all the way in, maybe the bolts are slightly shorter, maybe the casting was a little different. But I've put these in, put it down, and had no problems tightening down the intake manifold. This time, however, you can see got that nice indentation and even little hex shape into it. Now, people have talked about this before, and I know there's been some discussions about there's some shorter bolts you can use, which should certainly help, although that just didn't come in the kit that I bought. They're all the same length. So yeah, some shorter ones along on the exhaust side, 4 shorter ones by a few millimeters would help quite a bit. I've kind of just clearanced that intake manifold a little bit there, but I don't know, I might get on a die grinder and see if I can clear a little bit more material, but it might be fine now that I've smashed it down. The cam does still spin perfectly fine, so even though I've mashed it, it does spin all right. So that's not an issue. But yeah, like I said, I don't know why I'm running into this now and I haven't before. Again, I know other people have talked about this problem, and I've mentioned it, putting it down further, getting shorter bolts. So it's a new one to me because I just haven't come across it. So I'll get this stuff retorqued and put back down, and put on the intake manifold and check everything again and make sure everything turns freely and nothing's interfering, and that this intake manifold is sitting down all the way. I don't have like a gap here where it's leaking. Yeah, it's a little bit of a new one. A little frustrating going back and forth and losing time on it. So anyways, all right, back to work.